Good morning and welcome to Life at the Laundry Garden. Today we are going to be working inside the walled garden. It's winter and it's time to start pruning our apple and pear trees. We planted them about 9 years ago when we started work inside there, and we planted them and kind of left them to get on with it and grow. And we're at that stage now where we really do need to have a maintenance plan for them. I've got Hannah and Rowan on their way now, and Hannah especially has extremely good knowledge on pruning apple and pear trees in the winter because she's worked on a very big estate, much bigger than this one. So I'm going to be learning quite a bit today, and I'm going to bring you along with me and we'll all learn something together. Well, I think it's hat on and head into the garden. Let's go. I absolutely love these winter mornings. There's a lovely chill in the air, you can almost see your breath, and the clouds are actually starting to clear, and I think we're going to have some blue skies, which is brilliant. I just get so excited on a day like today when I know the weather is on our side. The orchard is over on the east side of the walled garden. We also have some hens, and of recent, a few months back in the summer, we've got some beehives. I don't look after them, but a local couple do. So we've got some honey coming our way hopefully this summer, which is very exciting. Right, come on. So Hannah and Rowan have just arrived. Hannah's just in the orchard now assessing what needs doing. Rowan has gone to get Tom's tripod ladder, and we're going to get started. We have got about 6 apple trees. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did I just say that? Just goes to show what I know in this garden. Yes, so we've got 5 apple trees. There are some cookers and there are some eaters. And then we have got 4 pear trees over there. One has come down, unfortunately, and we have tried propping it up, but unfortunately I think we've lost it, so that's going to have to go. We have a plum tree and a cherry tree and an ornamental tree as a focal point, but we'll come back to that another day. Right, Hannah and Rowan have just had a discussion on how and what ways they're going to be pruning these apples and pear trees. I'm going to start with the apple trees first, and bearing in mind we've never pruned them, shamefully, but that's okay. You know, there's still time to get on with this task now. Better late than never, hey?
Absolutely.
And I'm going to video Hannah, and she's going to explain how and what they're going to do to this apple tree in particular.
So me and Rowan have just had a discussion, and as you can see here, this needs to come out because it is crossing over and taking over that growth there. So we're going to take this down all the way to here, and then we're going to prune the edges of the other leading branch that is coming up. And then, as we discussed as well, you can see there's just so many branches that are crossing over, rubbing against each other. And we can't have that because that can bring in disease to the apple trees. So we want them gone. So it's dead, dying and diseased, all branches. The 3Ds, look out for all of them, and we will take them out and prune this. Now this has never been pruned before, so I am a bit cautious on how much to take off the branches. So we're probably looking at about 25-30% really, but we will be thinning it out a lot.
Why are we pruning it in the winter?
Because that's when it's dormant. So that's before it starts to put its growth on. So you can see here, no, it's not rising. It's all dormant. It's going into its little winter hibernation. So this is the perfect time to do it before the buds start to swell.
So are you looking for an overall shape, finished shape, or does that not matter?
Well, you want everything to kind of bear down. You don't want it too crazy or lean into one side either. So I think, you know, we might have to have a bit of an assessment of the staking as well. So you want it to be sturdy. You want it to have like a nice shape eventually. But when you hard prune, it will look like they go like this. Okay. And then the growth goes like that. So when it bears fruit, it starts to form downwards.
Take it away, Rowan.
So when apple trees are dormant in the winter, like this one is now, you can see they have two different kinds of buds. They have smaller leaf buds, like these here, and they have larger fruit buds, like this one here, or this one. Now, apple trees fruit either on fruiting spurs or on tip buds, or both. So this will be an example of a fruiting tip bud just here, and something like this would be an example of a fruiting spur with a large fruiting bud on the end, like that. So here, right next to each other, you can see the difference between a fruit bud, it's much bigger, and a leaf bud, which is much smaller. So when you prune an apple tree, you're very much the boss, you're in control. When you prune the tree lightly, that stimulates it to grow just a little bit. And when you prune it harder, what that does is it stimulates the tree to put on loads more growth. So when you bear that in mind, when you prune, you're very much in control of how the tree's going to grow the following year.
So show me an example of pruning hard, the difference between pruning hard and not.
Well, okay, so what we might do, if you just follow me around here. This is a nice branch, and we really want to encourage this because it's slowed down and it's pointing out exactly the way we want it to go. So I'm going to chop it. You can see last year's growth here. Last year's growth begins there. So I'm going to chop sort of 2/3 of that off to an outward facing bud. There's an outward facing bud. I'm going to prune that there. And that's quite a lot off. And what that should do is it should encourage the tree to send out a nice vigorous shoot here, which seems to me like that will be quite a nice shape and something we want the tree to do. So the tree fruits on fruiting spurs and on tip fruit buds. Now, when you're pruning the tree, you are going to have to sacrifice some tip fruit buds because some of those are going to go in the interests of making the tree into a nice shape. But you never have to worry about taking too much fruit off the tree because you're always going to be leaving some tip buds, and also you're going to be leaving all the fruiting spurs as well. So there's no need to worry about losing some of the fruit buds off some of the vigorous tips that you're going to prune off.
So from my learning today, this is old growth, but if you see there's a change of colour here, this is new growth. This will be last year's. So these are leaf nodes, and this here on the end is where we're going to get hopefully some fruit this year. Now what we're not going to do is cut any of this, because obviously we've got these nice fruiting spurs on the tips here, and then your leaf nodes here. So I'm really excited. So I've actually learnt that, you know, I've learnt about these bits that are going to fruit and these bits that are actually leaves and are not going to fruit. And that this whole length here grew last year, and hopefully we'll get fruit off that. So that's really good to know for me. Moving on to our 3 pear trees that are just here and behind me. We have decided not to touch them at all. The tallest one just behind me here must be at least 20 feet tall or more. And this one is slightly shorter, probably because it's closest to the wall, getting slightly less daylight. And this one here isn't far off the other one. By cutting them is going to ruin their looks, and their shape at the moment looks absolutely fine as well. So we're going to leave them. We've taken away their tree stakes and see how they're going to do. They're quite well grounded and won't be going anywhere anytime soon. Well, there's certainly a few things I've learned from today, and one of those things is the 3 Ds: dead, dying and diseased. And that is vital to look out for, especially when you're pruning apples and pears. And also we use that rule with pruning roses as well, which is something we'll be doing this month as well. Another thing I learnt was the difference between a fruiting bud and a leaf bud. That was quite fascinating and really good to know as well. And it was good to have Rowan and Hannah here with me to just help me understand what to do and what not to do. Now, if you're going to be pruning an orchard that is quite mature, and this one is maturing, I wouldn't say this is very, very mature, but I would certainly take some advice, or even take yourself on a course at a nearest RHS or a close by garden or college, just to gain really good knowledge and insight. So definitely do your homework, or have someone with you that has a very, very good idea on what they're doing. But I hope this has been helpful to you, because it certainly has helped me. Right, we're clearing up now. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this, do hit like, ask any questions. We're here to do our best to help as much as we can. And even better, subscribe. I'd really, really appreciate it. Okay, well, I'll see you next week. Bye.